Thank you, Richard, for that very generous introduction. Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Noemi Azura. I'm the President and CEO of PhilCare. Before I start, please allow me to share with you a little bit of information about our organization. PhilCare is a health maintenance organization. It's one of the largest. It's also one of the pioneers in the industry. It's been in this business for 34 years. It has a multinational heritage, having been owned by AIG and United Healthcare. Today, PhilCare has about 340,000 members, around 1,300 corporate accounts, and we have also a wide footprint of partner hospitals and clinics. So we have about 1,300 partner clinics and hospitals nationwide. And one of our valued partners is our host today, Healthway Medical. So thank you, Healthway Medical, for having us today. So that's PhilCare for you. Today, I'm going to talk about the PhilCare Wellness Index. So the PhilCare Wellness Index is a survey that we conducted 2 years ago, but the results of the survey is good for 2 years. We conducted a survey nationwide among 1,200 respondents. So the objective of the survey for PhilCare was to conceptualize and analyze a wellness index among Filipinos. It can also be called the Philippine Wellness Index, but because we're the first to do it ahead of our national government, with the privilege of branding it as the PhilCare Wellness Index. So wellness is, we define it as a state of having a sound mind, a fit, not just fit, but an active body, and having a positive disposition. And the survey is a summation. The Wellness Index is a summation of 5 different indices, namely physical, nutritional, medical, lifestyle, psychosocial, and other sub-indices under psychological social index. This is inspired by the sovereign wellness indices in other more advanced countries like the United States, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand. Okay, so I'm an accountant, but I will try to explain to you how our lead researcher explained to me the framework of the survey. First, the lead researcher is a very experienced market research professional. He's Dr. Fernando Paragas. He currently teaches at the Nanyang Technological University of Singapore. He has 15 years of experience in market research. He earned his research communications degree from the University of the Philippines. He also earned his master's degree in public administration from the same university. And as a Fulbright scholar, he earned his doctorate degree in mass communication from the Ohio University. So we have a very credible lead researcher doing the wellness survey for us. The methodology used was that we have 1,200 heads of households between the ages 21 to 55. They are scattered across 20 Tier 1 and Tier 2 cities only, in NCR, in Luzon, in Visayas, and in Mindanao. We adopted a multi-stage cluster probability sampling. That's a mouthful. So simplistically, it just means that we were very systematic in our approach of identifying the respondents. Meaning, we started with the geographic clusters. So we started with NCR, with Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, as the 4 main geographic clusters. Under each cluster, we identified the Tier 1 and the Tier 2 towns and cities. And under the cities or towns, we identified the barangay, and then we identified the street, and we identified the respondent. So that's the multi-stage cluster probability sampling for you. And the scales, we used a 7-point scale, which is inversely related to the well-being, the feeling of well-being. So the higher the score, or 7, that means the lower is the sense of well-being, and vice versa. So the scales have a reliability score of 0.844 or good using the Cronbach's alpha. So Cronbach's alpha is just a measure of reliability whether a particular survey is measuring what it's supposed to measure. And based on our Cronbach's alpha computation, it is good in terms of reliability, the highest score being excellent. So this is a very reliable survey. And then lastly, we use the SPSS. It's a statistical software to analyze the data. So now let me talk about the 7-point scale. So I'm using color coding. So the more intense the color is, the more intense the green color is, then the higher or the stronger the agreement is of our respondents. And then for the blue color, this talks about frequency of activity because some of our questions were phrased or were asked where frequency of the activity was indicated. So the deeper the blue color, the higher again the frequency. So let me just illustrate using a sample. I eat breakfast every day. And then the respondent needed to answer if they strongly disagreed or they strongly agreed. So is the framework clear? So at least I hear about 3 who confirmed that it's clear. So anyway, I just wanted to highlight that it's a very credible survey. On the demographics for individuals and households, I will just talk about 4. So in terms of gender, it's almost a 50-50 split between male and female. For age, the average age is 38 on the older side. Although the range is from 21 to 55, and as you can see, the share of 30 to 39 is 37.6%, and 40 to 49 is 29%. For marital status, again, the married would be the highest share of marital status. For education, you can see that the respondents are highly educated. Almost 74% have university degrees, and close to 10% have postgraduate degrees. Then in terms of household income, for NCR, the 95% of the respondents earn between 65,000 to 80,000 pesos household income per month. And then for the outside NCR, 83% earn between 50 to 60,000 pesos per month as household income. So this would be eligible for a gold credit card. Okay, so survey results. The first set of bars is the overall survey result. And the score, which is a summation of the other indices below, is 3.1, which means they only somewhat agree about the sense of wellness. So the Filipinos do not have a strong conviction about their sense of well-being. And that is supported by the different scores around the different indices. So for nutritional, it's also somewhat agree with 3.15. Medical, almost the same. Lifestyle, except for one, psychological and social. And we will find out why. It is the only index where we scored high, 2.63. And the last one would be stress, sex, and vice. So we also scored low, and it's a sub-index of psychological social. Okay, so let's look at the survey results. On the left-hand column, we start with the physical. So we used Asian BMI, or the body mass index, to measure whether the respondent's weight was ideal for his height. And we asked them to provide information. And so the survey says only 45% of our respondents were within the normal BMI range. And this is the Asian BMI. 46% were either overweight or obese. And close to 9% was below the normal BMI. Now, when we asked them, as part of the questionnaire, do you think that your weight is ideal for your height? 54% of our respondents believed that it was ideal for their height. So there's a contradiction between what the data says and also the percentage that responded it is ideal for their height. And sadly, only 44%, so it's less than 50%, knew what comprised a well-balanced diet. And again, if you remember the profile, these are highly educated, some have PhDs, majority have university degrees. 70%, luckily, fortunately, they always eat breakfast, which is a very important part of living a healthy lifestyle. 60% ate fruits and vegetables daily. But 27%, so this is close to one-third of the respondents, also ate fried and fatty foods. Hello, crispy pata. And hello, hot dogs for breakfast. 15% ate junk and processed foods. And 21% had sugary foods and drinks daily. On medical and lifestyle, 59%, again, because of the profile, 59% have access and the means to see a doctor. They take vitamins and supplements daily. They go for regular dental and medical checkups. However, 46% also confessed to self-medication. And when we ask them, so who give you the prescription? It's the family member or the neighbors. So, even if they have the financial capability to consult a medical professional, they still go to family and friends or they self-medicate. On lifestyle, our respondents said they have a good work-life balance, they get adequate rest, and their daily life involves some form of physical activity. But they also admitted to not having regular exercise. So on psychological and social, this is where we scored the highest, and it could be part of our happy culture. We tend to be optimistic. The respondents felt strongest about leading a purposeful and meaningful life. I think earlier this was discussed. And they felt that people respected them. They are satisfied with their lives. They are happy at work. And they have supported social relationships. They feel energetic. So very positive disposition. But under the psychological and social index, we also measured the sub-indices. So these are stress, sex, and vice. So on stress, they are very stressed. They felt stressed, they slept restlessly, and they felt pressed for time. On sex, it's good news. They are satisfied with their partners. They led good sex lives. A majority of our respondents said they had sex twice a week. So, and this was the highest frequency was between 30 to 39 years old. But we also noted that 12.5% of sexually active respondents with no committed relationships although were having a satisfying sexual encounters, were not practicing safe sex or protected sex. On vice, this is really where the contradiction is. So 58% drink alcohol, 6 bottles of alcohol per week on the average, and 48% smoke cigarettes. So on the average, 10 sticks of cigarettes per day. So what conclusions can we draw from this survey? So first, on the overall wellness index, we do not have very strong conviction about our state of well-being, and that was evident in the different contradictions about the reality of living a healthy life that we have seen around the 5 wellness indices. We also did not see a strong commitment to consistently practicing healthy living. So there is opportunity to introduce interventions and also to bring this level of well-being or sense of well-being to a higher score, like agree or even strongly agree. So how can we help? There are 2 ways to help. So first is let's start with the noble one, through an advocacy. The public and private sector can partner in terms of, for example, information campaign. we are seeing from this survey that there's lack of education about a healthy lifestyle. And looking back probably at our curriculum, whether you're in grade school or in public school or in high school, health education was about the human body or about, I can't remember any, even with my kids, there are no subjects, for example, to talk about keeping a healthy lifestyle. Now, we can work together on information campaign, and because of the Philippines digital profile, more than 50% of our population are on Facebook, 50% have internet access, and 100% mobile phone penetration. So, information campaign can be done through digital channels. Workplace wellness programs, because we spend a lot of time in the office, workplace wellness programs will play a critical role in developing the healthy habits. I would like to share good news about the Department of Health. So when President Duterte assumed office, he presented a 10-point plan. So I would like to iterate to some of the investors here that the point number 1 was about maintaining the macroeconomic, monetary, fiscal, and even the trade policies of the previous administration. That was number 1. But on health, he had 2 points. So he said that he's going to invest in human capital, and he will do that by supporting healthcare and also education. He also said that he's going to promote responsible parenthood and support the reproductive health bill. So, they just announced that the budget for the Department of Health has been increased 5 times. So, it increased from, I converted it using 50 pesos to $1, from $500 million to now $3 billion. So to support the health agenda between 2016 to 2022. So the healthcare solutions providers here, there's good news because really the government has a strong political will to transform the Department of Health and our healthcare system and make it more accessible to more Filipinos and deliver quality healthcare outcomes. I will not discuss anymore the ACHIEVE. There is an acronym for the program. So, but it's focusing on primary care. It's focusing on subsidizing also outpatient care, medicines, even blood and blood products. And they are also investing in e-health. So just look up the e-health framework of the Department of Health and you will see all the good news there. And then on the other side, what can we do? The business. So I'm happy to see today there are so many solutions already because there's a commercial opportunity with the results of the finding, and that is with the results of the survey, and that is really to create products and services that will address the gap. So I would like to acknowledge Healthway. Healthway has started even before we launched the survey. They have a product for executive checkup. So it's a comprehensive health check, and you can go to any one of their 5-star clinics to get that checkup. And technology will play a key role in the way that these gaps will be addressed. For example, content. In our own little way, PhilCare, what we have done, because we have like 50,000 visitors to our website every month, we also have more than 80,000 Facebook fans. So what we did was to stop talking about us in that section of the website. We used to talk about us a lot, but now we started focusing on the customers and the public and introduced articles on living a healthy lifestyle. And we're monitoring which among the articles also are widely read or are being shared, because we want our articles to also have a virality to it. Content would be one of them. Wearables, so Beng extensively discussed about wearable. I just want to mention Fitbit, because Fitbit is such an amazing product. It measures how much calorie you burn. It measures how much calorie you take in. It measures your heart rate. It measures your restful sleep. So wearable will be an important contributor to addressing the gaps. Mobile app also, that has been discussed extensively. But I would like to touch on virtual reality, VR, and augmented reality. So augmented reality will not just work for a Pokemon, the blockbuster response on Pokemon, right? But virtual reality and augmented reality can work, for example, for stress management. And on, again, workplace wellness programs, it should be focused on prevention. And we were just talking earlier, Beng and I, on how, because the workplace is the best place to influence the development of healthy habits. So how can we do it? It doesn't have to be expensive. So in our company, what we are exploring right now is that at certain hours of the day, there will be a crawler on the desktops. So you know the crawler? The crawler is what you see in CNBC and in Bloomberg, the stock prices crawls at the bottom of the screen. So there will be some sort of crawler at designated hours of the day. So for example, good morning, it's time for you to take deep breaths, and then learning from our partner Urban Ashram Yoga, Miss Maricar, she can teach us how to take those deep breaths. 5 minutes, and then at 10 o'clock, we can have a crawler reminder about hydration, and so on. So until end of the day, you will have these different reminders. Okay, lastly, because I have the flag. So I'd like to share with you what we have done. So for PhilCare, we had to reshape our value proposition. And what we did was to develop PhilCare 360, which is a holistic approach to wellness. And there are 2 parts to this: living a healthy lifestyle, and also basic chronic disease management on hypertension and just diabetes, and again, focused on self-care. So we offer this to some of our big accounts through our worksite clinics. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope that you learned something from the survey, and I hope that you were also entertained. So I encourage you to take part in making this nation healthy so that we can continue our blockbuster economic growth for years to come. Thank you.